So for more on this, I want to welcome to the program Rabbi Benjamin Elton. He's the Chief Minister at the great Synagogue in Sydney, and he joins me now live. Thanks for joining us, Rabbi. I know you don't want to get into partisan politics, but tell me what you feel about the anti-Semitism directed at your community now and what sort of support you're getting from the federal government.
Well, thank you for having me. The rise in anti-Semitism, which has been enormous in the past year, 427% according to the last reliable statistics, creates a spirit of intimidation, of fear, where Australian citizens just trying to go around, live their lives, do their work, see their friends, feel afraid to do so. And the problem has been that the leaders of our country, not all of them, but many of them, have not set a clear stance which says this is un-Australian, we can't tolerate this, that enough is enough, and we have to re-establish our shared values of disagreeing without being threatening, without being violent, without being intimidating.
Surely when we see episodes such as the chanting of "Where's the Jews" or "Gas the Jews" at the Opera House, when we see a sheikh standing on the streets of Sydney celebrating the slaughter of Jews on October the 7th, surely that you would also expect law enforcement authorities to act in that cases. Where are the hate speech laws if these sorts of events go unpunished?
We need to look at all avenues that can address these problems. We need to look at enforcement, and we also need to look at criminal offences and the penalties for them. We're all concerned about free speech. We live in a liberal society. We want it to remain a liberal society. And people have a right to protest, but they don't have a right to say hateful, violent, dangerous things. And so I want to see a continued review of the law, and when the law is in place, that it is thoroughly enforced, because we've now reached a stage where where lives are at stake. When a car is set alight in a residential area, a terrible tragedy could have occurred as a result of that. We've gone beyond the stage of, as you said, softly, softly. There has to be a clear stance, including the revision to and the enforcement of the law.
You mentioned that violent attack, the setting alight of a car. There are death threats. There have been threats of violence. Where do you fear this could end if it's unchecked?
It'll end in tragedy. Unless we deal with it, we will see a further collapse of Australian civil society, of the civic culture which we worked so hard to build up over a very long period, that was expected of me to sign up to when I became an Australian citizen 3 or 4 years ago. And we're going to see real violence and real suffering and a total breakdown of relationships between communities across the board. We need to take action in order to maintain the harmonious coexistence of our communities, not to privilege one over another, but so we can all live together, all contribute to Australian society, and all live respectfully with and alongside each other.